Hi, my name is Merrill Osmond. I'm a member of the Osmond family. I'm also the lead singer of the Osmond Brothers. For the next little while, I'd like to share with you a true story. This story happens to be about my life. And the reason why I'm recording this tape is to hopefully assist somebody out there that's listening, that's struggling, that's in pain, that doesn't know where to go. It seems like everything's a dead end. I know I've been through pain my whole life. I know the damaging consequences that can happen when we feel this way. I'm very grateful in the fact that I've been able to travel all over the world, to be able to find things out, to research a little bit about my health conditions. So today, I'd like to be able to share with you some of the things I've found out. First of all, those of you that don't know anything about the Osmond family, I'm the lead singer. I'm the guy right in the middle. Out of 9 children, I'm in the middle. I started when I was 4 years old, singing with my brothers on the Andy Williams show. It was wonderful. We enjoyed many, many years with Andy Williams. From there, we moved into the 70s, recording such songs as One Bad Apple, Yo-Yo, Crazy Horses, Proud One, Love Me for a Reason, and others. Very humbled to say that we've sold over 70 million records together, and it's been a lot of fun. From that period of time, we moved into the television business. We built a studio up in Utah. We produced quite a few shows. One of the shows that was produced out of that building was the Donnie and Marie Show. I was the executive producer for 6 seasons. It was wonderful to experience that kind of growth and those kind of memories. We then had a chance to do a lot of motion picture work. We produced quite a few movies of the week. I had a chance to produce Ronald Reagan's inaugural opening ceremonies, which was a highlight for me in my life. The Osmond Foundation was formed at that point, and millions of dollars was raised under the Children's Miracle Network banner, where today every penny that is raised goes to help children in all of those hospitals that are part of the family. From there, we moved into the country music area. We had quite a few records in country music. We love that. Today, my brothers continue singing and performing every day in Branson, Missouri at the Osmond Family Theater. I'm very proud of my brothers. They do a great job. But back to the reason for this tape. Let me tell you how it all started for me. When I was around 20 years old, being a type A driver like I always have been, I would always push and push, sometimes to the limit, this body of mine, trying to keep up with the things that I really wanted to get done. I remember being rushed to the emergency room with chest pains one day, and I watched as the doctor put a big long needle into my chest to drain the liquid around my heart. I was told then that a lifestyle change was in order, that no stress-related businesses should be sought after. Now, being a 20-year-old, as you can imagine, my reaction immediately was, excuse me, I was trained as an entertainer. I was excited about the work, as I am today, and I also understood the pressures that came with this business. Again, I started when I was 4 years old. I grew up and understood the entertainment business. I wasn't going to jump into another career. When I started working in the television business a year or two later, the physical problems that I had started to mount up a little bit more. Being the executive producer of the Donnie and Marie Show for 6 years, it was an incredible growing experience, but I started getting wake-up calls. My kidneys, for one, were giving me great problems. At times, I remember calling the doctor, telling that I was in such pain, I wish he'd checked me into the hospital and knocked me out. At the same time, I was being treated with abnormal liver functions. A little bit serious for a young guy right there. They put me on diets. I was on food supplements. I was taking all this stuff daily. Exercise was prescribed, but I just didn't feel good enough to get out there and jog or even walk, let alone. So I just continued on working hard and trying to take care of myself the best I could. Then came one of the biggest curses I think anybody could ever have, gout. Now, if anybody out there has ever had this terrible pain, you'll know what real pain is. My pain was centered in my two big toes, and it killed me. Again, more medications. What really hurt were the injections on a regular basis. They kept sticking that thing in that sore place, and boy, did it hurt. They were trying to get the uric acid to keep going down and down. But it'd flare and it'd flare. And you know, with the philosophy that I had, that the show must go on many, many times on stage, I felt like I was walking and pounding on glass. That's how that feels, by the way. But here came the doozer. The worst and the most embarrassing thing that started to hit my system and to cause me so much pain and embarrassment and irritation was psoriasis, eczema. It attacked everywhere, all over my head, in my ears, my elbows, my knees, my hands, everywhere. It was just going crazy. And the embarrassment would come all over my shoulders when I'd be singing and performing or doing an interview. People keep brushing it off my shoulders. Nothing worked. The salves, the creams, tar shampoo. I even took in fact I took 3 major doses of methotrexate, which is a form of chemotherapy. Now this worked for a little time, but boy, when it came back in major doses. I was told then that my nerves were causing all this, and that if I didn't slow down, that my days could be numbered because of all of these things hitting me at the same time. Then finally, while I was performing with my brothers in Branson, Missouri, I started to get very weak, started to get faint. I was perspiring a lot. I went and took my blood sugars and realized that the numbers were 300 and climbing. I was again diagnosed as having diabetes. The doctor started me on an insulin capsule. My body was still weak. The numbers continued to climb. Then I was given all kinds of other medication to cause those numbers to go down. Well, knowing that I was just about ready to crack, I went to my brothers and I told them that I just couldn't go any further. I needed to go home and try to understand, if I could, what all of this meant. Was it all over at 42 years old? All that I had worked for as an entertainer? What was happening? My doctors, who I respect so much, were all telling me that my body was shutting down. Then came the news that I was diagnosed as a bipolar manic depressant. So just take a look at this. Heart, kidney, liver, psoriasis, eczema, gout, diabetes, manic depression, and who knows what else was staring at me in the face, was hitting me and beating me up. Well, I did come home. I started to look at alternative medicines. I took the time to research the pros and cons to what I had heard so much about for so long. It was a cinch that nothing had worked so far, so what was there to lose? I've always been a great admirer of the Native American people, and have watched how wonderful they've dealt with specific health issues. The healing powers that come from spiritual roots and their feelings toward Mother Earth have always piqued my curiosity. When I would question certain wise men of their tribes, I'd always get that same basic answer to my question. The answer would be, it is within the creations of God. I also knew that faith in general was a critical factor to those that spoke of healing, and yet those wise ones would be very careful in giving any information. fearing that it would be taken wrong. What I began to realize that fear of what others were saying caused great truths to be hidden. Fear of what others said caused truths to be hidden. This is what finally clicked in my head. Now those that truly know me understand that I'm not afraid of taking anything on if I truly believe in what I'm doing. So here I sat at a crossroad, knowing what I felt and what others were saying. So I began to research even harder and deeper, and I wanted to know. I wanted to know how minerals, for instance, how aloe, how herbs were used in ancient days. Boy, did I learn something. Did you know that in 1750 BC that aloe vera was used for medical purposes? And as early possibly as 4000 BC, drawings of aloe was seen on tombs of the pharaohs. The Egyptians called it the plant of immortality. And then this is what really blew me away. But there are 5 references to aloe in the Bible. Numbers 24:6, Psalms 45:8, Proverbs 7:17, Song of Solomon 4:14, John 19:39. Read them. It's amazing. In India today, they're treating the spleen, hepatitis, skin disorders, and so many other things with the aloe. And this is what got my attention. Also in India, aloe vera is the treatment of 5,000 patients with heart disease and diabetes. Oh, was I excited. I dug in even more. I researched. I got my mother to help me, who loves to study about health. My information finally centered around a book called Aloe Vera, A Mission Discovered. It's written by Dr. Lee Ritter. This book tells you about the 200 leading aloes that have been independently tested by laboratories, which ones have the true aloe in the bottle and the ones that don't. He gives testimony like Stephen Huff's, who was diagnosed as having a brain tumor at the age of 9, and how his mother refused to give up on the little guy when everybody else did. Called Dr. Lee Ritter. The little guy took the aloe as prescribed with the daily dosage and so forth, and today they can't find a trace of the tumor. Well, okay, we can talk about this, but I wanted to find out myself, so I contacted Stephen Huff. He and I arranged to meet with Dr. Lee Ritter. I saw documentation proving the tumor was there, and then I saw later the documentation that they can't find it. You need to get this book and see for yourself what it is that's going on in this world of aloe vera. Well, I had a chance to sit down with Dr. Ritter. Then I said, will you please answer my questions? He said, of course. How much should I take, considering all that I'm facing with? And he said these words, and I'll never forget them. You can't put a forest fire out with a garden hose. That's exactly what I was doing, putting on a little bit here, a little bit there. He said, you can take too little, but you can't take too much. So I kept listening, and he told me that he took the freeze-dried aloe in capsule form. So I went and bought some of them and so forth and started taking them on a regular basis like he told me to. And he also told me to drink the aloe to start off with, and I've done that, of course. He told me that the whole leaf aloe concentrate was the way he prepares it and works with. He told me that the aloe was not a medicine. He told me it wasn't a drug, and it wasn't a cure. And he absolutely gave me no guarantees, but he said that if I took it faithfully with the right dosages every day, I would be pleasantly surprised. I'm here today to tell you all that my diabetes is fallen to the normal range category. My psoriasis, my eczema, has practically, if it hasn't right now, disappeared. My kidney and liver functions are working normally. My gout has not flared for months. And my doctor gave me a clean bill of health regarding my heart. You know, it's a fact. You can't escape your natural environment. Even though I've never smoked or I've never drank, I don't drink coffee, I've tried to live a very healthy lifestyle. Even doing all of that, you cannot escape our natural environment. Our air is polluted today. Our waters are polluted. Our foods are polluted. Our bodies are exposed to these toxins and these chemicals every single day. And we have to take something that'll counteract that. And I believe with all my heart, it's aloe. My friends, my life has been spared. And I wanted to share this message with you today. I've had tremendous complications so quickly. All through my life, at the age of 42, I'm now coming out and talking about it. Doctors of all kinds, psychiatrists, psychologists, every friend that had ever had a suggestion to try to help me has been there. The press the other day got a hold of my story and made up everything from cancer to having 1 year to live. They even said I caught a rare disease while performing in Branson, Missouri. That's not what happened. I also live by a phrase called, where much is given, much is expected. I truly have been a blessed man. I've been able to travel, to see, to observe, to feel, and to be a part of. And I feel the responsibility to report what I have learned to those of you who care to listen. I make this claim in closing that as we face an age which is being horribly complicated by all the new and wildly spreading plagues that face the human race, with the amount of government bureaucracy and possible cover-ups regarding these wretched diseases, that one plant, Aloe Vera, that has stood throughout all time. Over 4,000 years this plant has stood the test. A message that has been given to us time and time again, and we're just not listening to it. Our bureaucracy has prevented this information to being readily available to us, and it took people like Dr. Lee Ritter to bring that message out. And now, a person like myself, I want to assist. I want to speak out and tell the world what I now know to be true. Aloe Vera. You know, I was thinking the other day, I was telling my wife, if I could have just taken aloe when I was first introduced to it, years and years ago, if I would have just taken it, I think I could have prevented my problems. But that wasn't God's plan, I guess. God's plan, I guess, was that I needed to be humbled enough that my body failed. And it took this failure for me to give up the entertainment world and enter into this new world, the health world. And now as a messenger to the millions upon millions, a matter of fact, billions of people throughout the world, I urge you all, if you're listening to this message, to please take aloe. Make sure that it's tested. Make sure that independent laboratories have tested the product to declare its value. I urge you to take aloe. To quote Dr. Terry Pulse, if you could hold any disease in check, and if you stimulate and enhance one's own defense system, that being their immune system, there's no disease that your body isn't capable of conquering. And if your body can conquer it, your body can prevent it. I believe in aloe, good aloe. Thank you very much for listening. Take care.